Streaming now, this is the Wood TV Live Desk.
Good morning, everyone. Phil Penarski here with the Wood TV Live Desk. Hope you're all having a great start to your Thursday. Joining us today to talk about one of the more unique events coming to West Michigan so far this year is Mandy Grimsby, the co-owner of Grimsby Hollow Meadery in Middleville, Michigan, and Jerry Berg, who is the owner and curator of the Swordsmanship Museum and Academy. Thank you both for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Very excited to talk about this very unique event that we will get to in a moment. But first, I want to get to know a little bit more about both of you and the businesses you run. Jerry, let's start with you. If you wouldn't mind just telling us a little bit about the museum and sort of the background that you have with swordsmanship.
Oh boy, the background that I have with swordsmanship goes way back. Long story short, when you're incredibly stressed out, and nothing beats practicing swordsmanship with some good friends. Eventually, I realized, well, wait a minute, maybe there are some people from history, back when swordsmanship was a legitimate life or death skill, who may or may not have written down how to sword fight. I did some searching, and lo and behold, there are dozens and dozens of surviving swordsmanship manuals from history that tell us exactly how to perform swordsmanship from human history. None of this speculation or guessing. We have the book. My passion grew from there into collecting and historical knowledge and getting my degree in history and education. And it culminated all in this museum, the Swordsmanship Museum and Academy. We're just crossed over our 1.5-year point of having a brick and mortar location in Comstock Park, Michigan, where we host classes, we have exhibits, and it also acts as a home base for our educational events, where we go to Renaissance fairs, reenactments, cultural festivals, and set up our historical educational displays there as well. And we're growing. In 2023, we're growing even larger. We started our first Holland classes last month. We're also expanding into Kalamazoo in June, in Muskegon in September, and then of course our two areas here in Comstock Park and in Caledonia in the Grand Rapids area that have been going on for years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so very excited.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. You know, you found your passion and really were able to create a career out of it, Jerry. Mandy, on the flip side, though, we want to hear a little bit more about Grimsby Hollow. Talk to us a little bit about what you guys do and also the series that I'm very intrigued that's part of the event that's happening tomorrow, the Drink Mead and Learn Things series.
Sure. So Grimsby Hollow Meadery, we actually began producing commercially in 2017. And we just started out self-distributing to a few different local retailers. And then, you know, one of the things that we were always asked anytime we did a tasting was, do you have a place where we can come? And at the time, my husband and I, who are the co-owners, we were still doing, you know, working our day jobs and just getting our names out there. But in 2019, we did go ahead and move forward with a brick and mortar location in Middleville. So that is now a public facing space where you can come and you can enjoy glasses of mead, flights. We do have a small food menu. So everything that we make is small batch. When I say small batch, I mean about 6 gallons each. We utilize all of the amazing local farms for most of our fruit. You'll see us out there in the summertime picking fruit ourselves. We source our honey from a wonderful apiary up north next to St. Ambrose Cellars called Sleeping Bear Farms. So we try to keep it local as much as possible and as natural as possible. So that means not using any sort of sulfites or chemicals or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just very passionate about making really high quality mead. Mm-hmm. As far as the Drink Mead Learn Things series goes, prior to becoming a mead maker, I actually was in sales and marketing for a printed music company for about 20 years. And I've kind of been able to bring over that set of skills and knowledge and expertise into our business and to come up with some exciting events. And we've done a huge variety of things, but to be perfectly honest, one of the very first ideas I had was, I wonder if people would be interested in like coming and drinking mead and learning about different things. Jerry was actually the very first presenter that I thought of. We had been friends for years. We had taken classes with him. And I said, hey, Jerry, do you want to come and talk about history and bring some weaponry and see if people come? And it's honestly become our biggest series. It doesn't just revolve around swordsmanship. We have done things like ornamental gardening. We brought in a horticulturist. We have done tintype photography. We have done, we had a gal who came in from the east side of the state who specializes in FX makeup for independent movies. So around Halloween, she came in and taught you how to make, you know, these amazing looking realistic wounds, or if you wanted to look like a high elf, like things you could add to your face. So we're really all about anyone who has a skill set, knowledge, expertise in anything that's fun or nerdy or historical. We actually are always looking for new presenters. We have another Drink Mead Learn Things next month that actually is going to be featuring Michigan's oldest fossils. So I think that's going to be exciting and bring in a whole new group of people.
Mm-hmm. Right, no, it's super cool to host these sorts of things. And Mandy, you know, just real quick, for people that maybe don't know what mead is, could you briefly explain what that is and maybe touch on a little bit why that makes such a great partner for something like Jerry and talking about history and swordsmanship and all that good stuff?
Sure. So mead at its very essence is honey wine. So rather than using grapes as the main fermentable ingredient, it's all honey based. So that doesn't mean you can't use grapes or other types of fruit, spices. Some meads are even made with malt and barley. So they are more of a beer style, which we call a braggot in our industry. So the cool thing about mead, though, is it is the oldest known alcoholic beverage. It predates beer, the wine that we know today. Honey was something that was easily accessible prior to the grade trade becoming a thing. So there's actually evidence of honey fermentation happening in a vessel that was swabbed in a old archaeological site in China, dating back to 7000 BC. So mead actually has this incredible long history. I know a lot of people associate it with Vikings, and it's what the Vikings drank. But it's actually something that's been produced far before the Vikings came and raided our shores, or their European shores, not really our shores. But, and funny enough, we do a great series presentation with Jerry, Vikings. You've done Vikings a couple of times now.
It's always huge.
It's always huge. It's probably the most attended Drink Mead Learn Things that we do because people, you know, Vikings are popular right now. And if that's how people find us, that's great. But mead itself just has a long and rich history that is actually quite, you know, predates the Viking era. So, yeah.
Yeah, right. No, I can understand all of that. But, you know, I do want to switch gears now to the specific event that is happening tomorrow. I've held off long enough. I made a big deal about how unique this event was. Haven't really talked about it, so now we're going to get into it. It is, of course, the Galactic Sword Fighting presentation. Jerry, if you wouldn't mind starting off, just telling us a little bit about what is this presentation and what sort of people can expect when they attend.
This celebration is overall this presentation is overall a celebration of this science fiction combat that in today's real world society has evolved into a literal martial art of its own, which is so fascinating, something that started, you know, just decades ago and has grown into this massive sci-fi epic saga that we have taken these pieces from and brought it into the real world in such a fun way. It's fantastic. So as the Swordsmanship Museum grew and we offered classes, everyone said, well, Jerry, are you going to offer, you know, LED saber combat, as we call it? And I said, maybe, but we had one of our great educators, Sean, who's going to be co-leading the presentation tomorrow with myself. He stepped up, and what he did is he took these fascinating tools right here, these LED sabers, and he went through and scoured the world of historical swordsmanship and modern swordsmanship styles and associated reality sword fighting styles with these actual canonical styles used by the Jedi, by the Sith. in the actual Star Wars canonical universe. He has associated techniques with them and made this brand new martial arts. And part of the presentation is going to be sharing how we got that, what these actual styles in this fictional universe might look like in the real world, while at the same time we're explaining this culture, this world, this brand new martial art that has popped up in the 21st century, as well as making so many jokes. We love it. We love it. It's a nerdy celebration for anyone. So that's what it's going to be. Sean, by the way, does lead New Dawn Kyber Squadron, which is a weekly LED saber class that covers a variety of topics. It is for adults. The museum does have teen classes if there are parents out there watching, but most of our classes are also for adults. So keep that in mind too. It's a lot of fun.
Right. No, and I know for myself personally, growing up, being a big Star Wars fan, it's always cool to see, something like this happen. You've always wanted to grow up and pretend you're a Jedi or maybe even a Sith, and now you're really getting the chance to learn the art behind it all. But for people that do decide to head on down, can't understand why you wouldn't want to, but for those who do, what are sort of the things that they can expect to really partake in? Is it going to be a lot of one-on-one battling? Is it really just going to be kind of learning a little bit about these LED sabers? What's sort of the agenda really for this presentation?
As much as I would love to teach a sword fighting class in an alcoholic distribution facility,
probably not the safest idea.
I'm going to leave the interactive sword fighting to some of our other classes out there. But Sean and I are going to be in our costumes with all of our armory, our LED saber armory, and it's going to be more of a way for people to enjoy the mead and the food and the atmosphere of Grimsby Hollow while watching Sean and myself explain and share our favorite techniques, our favorite styles, and understand the thought process and the physical training that it takes to get to a level of nerdy sword fighting that we are today. We do offer sword lightsaber classes, but not while drinking mead.
Yes, no, probably a safe idea there. Mandy, though, Grimsby Hollow is hosting this event, and if you wouldn't mind just kind of telling people, there are a lot of people that are interested in attending Friday night. What's sort of the best way that they can maybe book a spot or reserve their spot and just be able to make sure that they can attend?
We actually are a first come, first served establishment for the most part, especially on event nights. We used to offer reservations, and we had too many instances where we had no call, no shows, and that obviously affected the ability for other people who were actually there to get a spot. So especially with the talks that we do with the Swordsmanship Museum and Academy, we always recommend arriving early. That is key to getting a good spot. Most of the people who have been coming to these, because we do have some regulars that come to every single one, will arrive at least an hour early. We are an alcohol-based establishment, so we actually are 12 years and up only, as long as the minor is accompanied by an adult. But yeah, other than that, the event is free to attend. We just ask that each attendee make a $5 purchase. If mead isn't your thing, we do have an extensive list of loose leaf teas, food, craft sodas, things like that.
Right, definitely. And of course, for everybody wondering, the event is this Friday at Grimsby Hollow down in Middleville. It starts at 8 p.m., but as Mandy said, you probably want to get there a little bit earlier if you're planning on attending. Before we let you go, I want to thank you both for stopping by the live desk today. It's been a huge honor to really get to talk to you guys about this exciting event, but typically with these, I like to give everybody one last shot at making their final pitch. So I'll let you both make your final pitch out to people. Why should they head on down to Grimsby Hollow this Friday night, and stay tuned for the Galactic Sword Fighting presentation?
You guys have not lived until you have a big flagon of mead, watching a couple guys with lightsabers go at it. It is not an experience that you get to have every day. By the way, they also provide us, the presenters, with mead, so it turns into a little, it turns great. But the experience of the mead is also great. I love Grimsby Hollow meads. Unironically, I get it all the time. Like, They are great, and you can pick them up in a variety of distribution areas or at their tasting room. It is so good. It is an experience in and of itself. Lightsabers aside.
Yeah, we're very unique atmosphere. At the very least, like I said, even if mead isn't your thing, come and experience our unique atmosphere. The presentation on nights we're not doing presentations, we've got a great variety of board games, and we really are very customer service oriented. So you're bound to have a fantastic experience regardless of when you come. But it's just a whole other level whenever we have one of these presentations, especially with Jerry there. He really is a great presenter. You're not going to be bored. It's not a droning on lecture. It's very audience participation based. Lots of questions always come up. And he's been doing this a long time, so he knows his stuff.
Right. No, couldn't have said it better myself. Mandy, Jerry, thank you both for coming on the live desk today. We really do appreciate it. For anybody wondering about more information regarding the Galactic Sword Fighting presentation happening at Grimsby Hollow this Friday night, you can find all of it right now on our website, woodtv.com. If you're watching us on Facebook, I encourage you to check out the description box and comment section. You'll find a link directly to the story, and you will find all of the links you need right there as well. Mandy, Jerry, once again, thank you so much for coming on this morning.
Hey, thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Phil.
Yes,
see you soon.
Yes, absolutely. And I want to thank everybody else for tuning into this latest edition of the Wood TV Live Desk. I'm Phil Penarski, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.